Hi everyone, welcome to Stubborn Mule 2022. My name is Paula Waite. I'm the race director for this event. Super excited that you are all making the journey today up to Drummond, Wisconsin for this race. Big thank you to you. A big thank you to the many volunteers who are also making that same journey from across the state to be here to put on a great event for all of you. So we have 135 racers racing in 3 races this weekend. We have a 5-hour, a 12-hour, and a 30-hour race. The 30-hour race is a regional championship. That means the top 3 or 4-person co-ed team earns a spot at nationals, earns free entry to nationals. National championship this year is in California in September. Now, I don't want to leave out the 12 and 5-hour teams, so the top overall, not just co-ed, but top overall team in the 12-hour race will earn free entry to Mule 2023. Same thing for the 5-hour teams. Top overall 5-hour team will earn free entry to Mule 2023. So a little extra incentive there. Reminder before I dive into more details about the race this weekend is to carefully review all of the updates, all the videos, the race rules, everything that's been posted on our website so far. So I'm not going to repeat anything really here. I'm going to highlight a few things, but make sure that you've taken a good, careful look at all of the information that's there so that you don't miss anything. As you're thinking about prepping for tomorrow, my number one tip is to show up race ready so that you can use all of the time that's allotted from the time that check-in opens until race start to plan your day. Now, talked about the winner and what's on the table for them. Who wins the race? The winner is the team that gets the most CPs in the least amount of time. CPs being checkpoints. Those are the orange and white flags that you're looking for out in the woods, positioned on topographic features like hilltops, re-entrance, creek junctions, that type of thing. One note about obtaining those CPs is that they must be obtained using the mode of travel specified. So let's say you're biking along and you're perhaps biking past a paddle point. You can't hop off your bike and get the paddle point. Paddle points have to be obtained by canoe or kayak if you're a solo racer, bike points on the bike, trekking points on foot. And you can't jump ahead in a section or backwards in a section. So if you're doing, say, a biking section, you cannot see a paddle point, go get that, or maybe ride past a trekking point from a previous section, hop off and get that. So you can only get the CPs for a particular section while you're doing that section. Now, that said, the CPs within a section can be obtained in any order, so you can kind of pick and choose there. There's much more detail about that, the modes of travel, and all those details in your course instructions and on the clue sheet. So if when you get that information tomorrow you have questions, please ask. In terms of, I should mention this about the bike CPs. So I mentioned you have to obtain those CPs using the specified mode of travel. Some of the bike CPs, you may not be able to ride right up to the CP. You might have to dismount your bike and walk a little bit to get to those points. And that's okay. That's not, using an incorrect mode of travel. Overall, you use your bike to get there. Adventure racing is a team sport, so be sure to stay together. No sending a runner up to the CP to punch it while you stand on the trail having a snack. So, also a reminder in that same vein, be sure to keep your eyes open for those all punch controls. And there's another video about what the all punch controls are, so make sure you review that. Last thing related to kind of being out on the course, you are all responsible for getting back to the finish line under your own power. We don't have the capacity to kind of run a sag wagon and bring you in if you get tired. So keep that in mind. You do need to get back under your own power and with all of your equipment, not paddle gear, but your bikes. So you need to make sure the bikes are back as well. Sometimes course design is such that maybe you could leave your bike somewhere and run back. Course design isn't really like that this year necessarily, but just making sure that everyone understands everything needs to be back with you at the finish line. Maps. Few things about that. Tips. Carefully review the legend on the map. So I've got some different symbols on there. Pay attention to that so that you understand what trails you can bike on and what trails you can't bike on, what the off-limits roads are, and some additional symbols like that. Pay attention to the scale. So the scale is not necessarily the same on every single map. So make sure you look at that on the different maps so that you don't all of a sudden think the distance is greater than it is or less than it is. Some of the data that I've added onto the map is not perfect. For example, in one area, I roughly drew in kind of a clear-cut area to indicate that this might not be a very good area to try to go off trail. The boundary of that is not exact. So I wouldn't want anyone to try to navigate off that boundary thinking, oh, the CP is 300 meters from the clear cut. It's not perfect. It's just kind of a general layout. So be aware of that. Be aware that there are a lot of old logging roads out there that you will cross that don't show up on the map. There's some stuff that might be on the map that no longer exists or is overgrown. So just be aware of that and don't let that throw you off. Be sure to use the topography for your navigation. That said, if I've GPSed in maintained trails like silent sports trails, those are there. Those are pretty accurate. Some of them are kind of overgrown because they're ski trails and they're not maintained in the summer, but they're more identifiable probably than some of the other stuff that's out there. Read your clue sheet very carefully. So there's one CP in each race that does not have a flag for it. It's just the control box that you'll dip your finger stick into. So pay attention to that. If you're riding along and haven't noticed that in the clues, or running along and you're looking for a flag, you're not going to see one. So make sure you pay attention to those clues and know what you're looking for. In those two cases, the control box is attached to the base of a signpost. So again, if you're looking for a flag, you're going to miss that. So pay careful attention to the clues. Next thing, a bit of a safety issue. There's a lot of ATV traffic in the area. Drummond, the campground that's near HQ, gets a lot of ATV use. So you're going to see ATVs coming in and out of that area quite a bit. They use many of the forest roads, ATV trails. So just be aware, ride single file when you're on the busy roads, be safe. Next thing, volunteers. We've got some new volunteers this year, and our volunteers in general have not been involved with course design, so they don't know much about the course. And with 3 races going on, they may not know all the rules and details for your particular race. So if you have questions, your first source of information are the race instructions and your clue sheet. If you have questions about anything, please ask me. You can ask volunteers, but just be aware they may not have all of the answers. So ask me. I'll be available at the check-in. If as you're going through your race materials, you've got questions, just ask. For those teams that are brand new, first race, this can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes in the morning as you're looking through all the information and trying to sort things out. If you would like a little bit of help kind of planning your day, let me know and I'm happy to take a look at things with you and kind of talk to you about what you're hoping to get out of the race and then sort of dial things in specific to that. Related to that, 12-hour and 30-hour, there are going to be some mandatory checkpoints that sort of dictate the order in which you complete the race and some of the locations that you must go to. The 5-hour race is very open, so you'll have sections to choose from that you can do in any order. Within those sections, you can obtain the CPs in any order. So lots of flexibility there. And in fact, for the 5-hour race, there's no requirement about getting a certain number of CPs in each discipline. I know some races do that, and we've done that in the past. We're trying to keep this really open and flexible for you so you can really pick and choose how you spend your day tomorrow. When you check in tomorrow, a few things about that. We've got some great product to give away. We have Gurney Goo, courtesy of Phil Taylor. Those will either be in your goodie bags or laid out for you to grab. Phil is racing the 12-hour, so be sure to thank him for that when you see him. Another product that will be out on the tables for you to grab is Embark Maple Energy. I have a disclaimer for their stuff. So they sent us a ton of product, but it's prototype packaging. And while it's fairly durable, Eric did want me to let you know that the prototype packaging isn't guaranteed to be like bomb-proof. So just be aware of that. And there's a little note on each of the packages as well. So it's great product. It mixes really well, like with water. So I think it's the elderberry flavor mixed in your water bottle is really good. But just be careful if you're carrying that in your pack that it may not, like I said, be bomb-proof. As you're checking in, we've got bags and everything for you. I listed that out in a previous update. But if there aren't shirts in your plastic goodie bag and there aren't any shirt sizes printed on your label, that's because you registered after our no shirt guarantee window, and the system I used for registration didn't gather your shirt sizes. So we have shirts, I think, for almost everybody. So if you don't have shirts in your bag, please just grab a shirt at check-in. For those of you who registered, most of you will early on, before June 1st or so, you will have shirts in your bag. But some of you may not. We'll have a table of shirts that you can just grab a shirt that fits you. And in addition to that, if your shirt doesn't fit what you were given, feel free to swap it. So that stuff will be out on a table at check-in and also at the finish if you don't want to worry about it in the morning before your race. Let's see, what else? I should probably tell you that once you leave HQ, headquarters, tomorrow, you should plan to be gone for most of the day. You could choose to swing back through HQ, maybe to pick something up if you wanted to, but it's not going to be right on the way for most of you. So just keep that in mind, maybe as you're kind of packing up your stuff for the morning. At the finish, we have finisher awards. They are a stainless steel logoed cup for your post-race beverage. We'll have beer on tap from Angry Minnow, a couple different flavors, and we'll also have soft drinks to go in that cup. So that's your finisher award. We also have crud claws, so a nice way to have a shower in a bag. They're awesome, whether you use them tomorrow or use them down the road. I use them all the time. So those will be at the finish line as well. We also have a few donations from a few different vendors that'll be on the table, and that'll just be left out at the finish line so you can help yourself until that stuff is gone. I am not planning an official award ceremony on Saturday. There's going to be plenty of ceremony at the finish line. Results will be available online as soon as possible. So check Facebook and the race website. And I'm going to try really hard to just keep pumping the latest information up there. So you should be able to see where things are at there. Last thing I want to talk about is inclement weather. So it looks like some thunderstorms might be on tap for tomorrow. If we've got lightning, with an event spread out this wide, there might be lightning in one area and things are perfectly fine in another area. And it would be really hard to manage pausing the race for everyone based on severe weather. So if you feel unsafe and you need to seek shelter while you're out on the course, please do that and then keep track of your stop and start time. And we'll give credits for that stop time. We're going to have to use the honor system on that. If you happen to be at a TA, that's a little bit easier for us to manage, right? You can just let the folks at the TA know, hey, we're going to wait until the lightning stops and then we're going to move on. So that's, again, it's a tough thing to manage, but we will allow stop time if you're feeling like it's not safe. Hopefully that makes sense. I think that is just about everything that I have for you. If there's anything that I missed, please shoot me an email. I will be out and about today, so I may not respond immediately, but I will get back to you. Or I will add more information to the FAQs so that the same information is going out to everyone. Otherwise, I will have a short last briefing about 15 minutes before your race starts. So there'll be time for questions and answers then as well, if not during check-in. All right, can't wait to see you. Safe travels today.